up, Detroit? We are back for another happy round of the Riles and Riley Rundown.
The last time we did that was when the Tigers
clinched the playoffs.
Clinched the playoffs. Wow,
So-
that's been a while.
Yeah, so now it's time to preview the World Series and finally get Detroit something to cheer about again. It's been about a week, and
I don't think too many people saw this one coming maybe at the start of the season, but 3-4 months into the season, I think most people would not have expected this one.
yeah, but we're here, and I think
It's exciting.
Yeah, all the doubters can now shut up.
Everybody doubted this team at one point. There's
Yeah.
nobody who, I mean, even the team. I'm sorry, anyone on the team who says the entire way they thought they were going to make it to the World Series, they're crazy.
Yeah.
They probably thought they could make it there, but there were parts where they started to win.
I wouldn't say World Series. I would say playoffs. If you thought this team was going to make the playoffs or win the division, and probably about halfway through the season, you were probably going nuts. But once they got into the playoffs, we all pretty much said that
I
we
agree
got
with
the
that.
better draw. I mean, when you have the Yankees, who honestly,
I wrote an article about how I didn't think the Tigers fans should accept anything less than a World Series.
yeah, I mean, once the Rangers got knocked out, honestly, it was kind of like a free sale to the World Series. I mean, you were going to play the Yankees, you were going to play the A's. I mean,
And those
the
are teams you
A's
should be.
The A's were a team that were going to fade off. You knew it was going to happen eventually. You just didn't. You definitely didn't expect that the A's were going to give you a tougher series than the Yankees. I mean,
No.
the Yankees literally looked like a little league team out there for pretty much the entire series. And as much as ESPN doesn't want to give the Tigers credit, I'm going to give all the credit in the world to the Tigers because the Tigers are the team that shut down the Yankees. I mean,
Now taking a preview at this series, because the National League won the All-Star game, they have the home field advantage.
yeah, way to go,
It
Justin
sucks, but at
Verlander.
the same time, I am one who believes that the All-Star game should keep the meaning. I do enjoy it more that way.
Yeah.
So first two are gonna be in San Francisco. Game one, you have Verlander. I guess the San Francisco pitcher has not yet been announced. Most people are assuming Barry Zito.
Yep. I want to throw it out there. Any idiot who's going to call in after after the World Series, if it so happens that the Tigers don't win the World Series, if you call in and say, anybody who calls in and says that we need to trade Justin Verlander because he's the reason why we didn't get home field advantage, just go bury yourself.
I've never even heard someone suggest
There
that.
were 3 people who were calling in on local radio saying that if they don't win the World Series, that they should do something about Justin Verlander and talk to him about starting in World Series because it.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this much: if they don't win, there may be even if they do win. You know what? Next year may be a little different. His next time in the All-Star game, he may actually take.
He's not going to listen to Prince Fielder. Put it that way.
He may take it a little more seriously.
Yeah. But previewing this, I said it in the Yankee series, and I just got done telling Brendan this. If the pitching staff can stay the way they've been all season, I do not see any team beating this team.
Well, especially the way they've been in the late part of the season and in the postseason.
Yeah, in a 7-game series though, I mean, when you have Verlander, Fister, Sanchez, and Scherzer, I would honestly put them up against every single starter in the Giants rotation.
And you know what? I wanna give you some numbers on this Giants. The batting average. I don't have the team batting average in front of me, but I have player batting averages. There are 5 guys batting above 300. Out of those 5 guys, only 2, and that's in the playoffs. Only 2 of those 5 guys batting above 300 have more than 10 at bats. Yep. So you can't take a whole lot out of what those 3 are doing. Arthur, don't even know who that is. Jay Arias, I don't know, and Barry Zito's a pitcher. The only 2 who are batting above 300 with a lot of at bats are Marco Scudero and Pablo Sandoval.
And
then after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other batters batting below 250.
And keep in mind that this is all going against NL pitching, which we all know is not. I mean, the AL pitching staffs are a lot deeper. Or I'm sorry, the NL pitching staffs are a lot deeper than the AL, but the AL is top heavy, and the AL I would put up against pretty much any pitching staff in the NL.
And most believe the Tigers have the best pitching staff out of everyone in the AL as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a tough series, don't get me wrong, just because it's the World Series and the Giants aren't going to go easy, as we've seen. I think they've won 7 elimination games in a row now.
6.
6 elimination.
Actually, they're one of only 2 teams to ever play 6 elimination games and still be here to talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, Marco Scudero is getting hot at the right time. However, one guy is not going to beat this Tigers team. You
You
have
need
to have,
your Tigers hitting to work.
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
for the most part, have faith in the pitching.
Yeah.
You do lose your DH, which means you are going to have to figure out. I mean, it's already been said Delman's probably going to start in the field when we go over to San Francisco.
Honestly, right now, what I want to see what the Tigers did to the Yankees. Or put it this way, CC Sabathia is one of the best pitchers in baseball. We blew him up in Game 3. Yeah,
And then
or
all of a
Game
sudden
4.
he was hurt, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was hurt. However, he was also their whole team was down and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to see more explosion out of the Tigers bats. Like
One
in
thing
that
I think you did to the Yankees is you very, very quickly put them in a position they didn't want to be, and they kind of gave up.
Yeah.
The thing I do like about this 2-3-2 against us, the thing I like about being the away team in the 2-3-2 system is
If
that,
we win one on the road, the Tigers are pretty much. I mean,
well,
I
not
don't-
only that, but you have Verlander going in Game 1.
Yeah.
You trust he's going to win. I mean, you never know. But if Verlander does his job and gets you that win,
Yep.
Game 2 is now only insurance.
Yep.
You don't need Game 2.
Yeah.
But if you take those first 2 games like you did against... I'll tell you this much right now. If they leave San Francisco up 2-0, I don't see it going back to San Francisco.
No, not at all. Because, I mean, one thing that the Tigers have been pretty much all season is a great home team. I mean, even when they were struggling throughout the season, they were always winning at home. And, I mean, I'm giving a lot of kudos here to the starting pitching. I'm also going to give kudos to Phil Koch. He stepped up when we needed him
Yep.
to. And Phil Koch is definitely... If I see Valverde come out of the bullpen to close a game in this series, I'm going to be ticked. Because, I mean, me personally, I think Koch's earned it right now. You ride him while he's hot. Don't get me wrong, he might give up a run. He might give up 2 runs. But, I mean, I was just talking to Brendan about this, and they did a simulated game sometime this week against...
As much as you can take out of a simulated game.
Right, but, I mean, simulated games are probably less effective than... or just as effective... They show more than the real game because I mean you're not really even hitting.
I don't know about that.
You're not hitting.
I've never heard of that. I don't get what you're trying to say with.
I'm saying that he's facing minor league pitchers and he's giving up 3 runs in a simulated game.
Wait,
that's ridiculous.
In a simulated game, you mean a minor league game?
Yes,
I didn't realize that's what you meant.
Yes, that's
I
what
thought
they
you
were
meant a
talking
simulated
about.
video game.
That's what I was talking about.
Because I
yes,
know
he was playing Xbox in the bullpen. He gave up 3 runs.
I didn't realize what you were saying because they
No.
do simulate games like these sometimes.
No,
in
this
other
was a
sports.
simulated game against
Yeah,
real.
see, that's completely different. That's a lot worse.
Yeah, this is a simulated game against real minor league hitters, and he gave up 3 runs, which is why
Well, that changes everything.
we were questioning why he was gonna be or make the postseason roster for the World Series. I mean, something might be wrong with Valverde. You don't know. I mean, obviously something's wrong with him, but it might be more than just a head case thing.
We were talking about the hitting, and I said that the Tigers need to keep the hitting up that they've had. If you listen to our couple postseason talks the Tigers talks we did during the regular season, I think at one point we mentioned 10 batters below the 250 mark.
Yep.
You could pretty much say that right now you have 10 batters who are not everyday players, but regular guys in the roster because of the whole Avila Laird and Garcia Berry thing. Out of 11 everyday starters, 3 of them are below the 250 mark.
Yep.
And only one's below the 200 mark.
Yep.
So you keep that up. Honestly, I mean, the Tigers are heavy favorites in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I think they should be. They are the better pitching staff, and they're the better batters.
One thing
If you come out to play, this should be your series.
I'm going to throw it out there, though. With the bullpen going back to it, I mean, chances are it's not going to be like last series where we're only going to use one bullpen pitcher for every single game. I want to see Albuquerque out there.
Well,
I mean,
you expect that Verlander probably doesn't need a whole lot of help in his games.
right.
But, no, yeah.
But, I mean, Albuquerque has not seen the mound since the kiss from
No,
the
in
ball.
Oakland.
And, I mean, yes, Leland, you can play your little thing where you're mad at him but don't hold a grudge on the kid for kissing the ball. I mean, it wasn't even that
I
big
didn't
of
even
a
think
deal.
he cared that much, did he?
Neither did I, but apparently he's in his doghouse for some reason. Unless Albuquerque died somewhere and we didn't hear about it, but I mean he hasn't even warmed up in the bullpen since the kiss of the ball. So I mean, me personally, I'd like to see Albuquerque get out there. Not even so much to find out if he can close, but just to give him some experience or some more experience in the playoffs.
See, I don't like the idea of giving anyone experience in the playoffs. You said it a couple times, and hey, I mean, you're into that. I don't care at all. You don't give a guy experience in the playoff season already, unless you're out of the race. I mean, if now I want to see him too, but it has nothing to do with experience. It has to do with the fact that he has been one of the best bullpen pitchers since he came back.
Yeah.
The guys that I want to see coming out of the bullpen, I want to see Albuquerque. I want to see Koch. I'd like to see Smiley, but the problem with Smiley is if he comes in, it means that he's got to go a long ways, and you could very well be losing. I think you want to see Dotel. I think you got to give Benoit a shot because he's completely blowing things up.
The main reason why I want to give the postseason experience to these guys, I mean, all these guys you're doing this to are young guys.
But you're in the World Series. You play to win.
But I'm saying experience-wise could come in any time. Experience-wise can come when you're up by 7 runs in the 7th inning.
Yeah, if that happens, I have no problem with it, but I don't have faith that that's
just like Garcia. I mean, I've personally liked the Garcia move into the postseason the whole time. Brendan's kind of been against it.
Okay, by baseball knowledge, he should not be on a postseason roster.
True, but
I do not have a problem with him being on the postseason roster. I have absolutely no problem with him being on the postseason roster. What I have a problem with is I don't think he should be starting. He has 6 hits and 18 at bats, and 3 of those are pinch hits.
True, but
he's 3 for 3 pinch hitting, and so that means he's 3 for 15 as a starter. I think Garcia is a great weapon to have on your bench, and you know what? I mean, he hasn't had a bad postseason by any means.
No, not at all. He's actually had probably 4 or 5 great clutch hits.
No, he's had a very good postseason. But to me, Barry's been the better everyday player. But you know what? Since we got onto that, let's look at it right now. You obviously know Jackson starting, and we've already been told Delman starting.
Yep.
So you gotta choose, which I think we know the answer, but you gotta choose between Dirks, Barry, and Garcia as your other outfielder when you're in San Francisco because you don't get the DH.
Yep.
Do you think we go with Dirks every game in there?
I don't think we're gonna go with him every game. I think we'll give him for the game 1, and then it's
lefty, right?
It's gonna depend on the hitters matchup. I mean, if it's a righty, they're gonna put Garcia in for Dirks. If it's a lefty, they're gonna put Barry or.
But
I do personally think that Barry's gonna be the odd man out, and he will be used in San Francisco basically as a pinch runner throughout the entire time.
I actually mentioned the time that I wanted to bring up here. I personally believe Dirk should be the one sitting in favor of Barry. But I personally believe, as I've said, I don't like Garcia as a starter. I think Barry should get the left-handed pitcher. I guess they're both lefties, so that is kind of tough to do.
Yeah.
But I would like to see Barry get in there instead of Dirks. Dirks has been the one struggling.
That was one of the biggest reasons, honestly, why they brought Garcia up. Is because, I mean, when you think about our right-left combos with
I'd still rather
pitching,
start Dirks against left-handed pitching than I would start Barry, to be honest.
Yeah.
Garcia, to be honest. Garcia, I mean, he might give you that matchup advantage, but 3 for 15. Hold on, what is 3 for 15 batting average wise? I'm gonna figure that out real quick.
It's got to be like under 200 or just at 200, but
it's exactly 200.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's not terrible, but it's not what you want to be your starter. When
right.
You got.
But it's tough. It's a tough call. I mean, it's always going to be a tough call though when you're playing a National League team.
Hopefully you only have to worry about that twice.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can win it in 5.
Right.
And you don't. I mean, I don't know. I personally don't believe you're going to be able to win it in 5. I think you're going to go 1-1 the first 2 games, unless Fister comes out. I think you're going to win Verlander's game, especially since we get to line up our pitching the way we want, and they have to work with it because of the fact they had to go 7.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're getting all of their starters on 3 days rest now, which is a good thing. I mean, minus put it this way, all their Zito, who is probable for the first game, they'll probably pitch Bumgarner.
When did Zito last pitch? He
pitched games 5, so it would have been.
So no, he got more. He got 6 off, 7 off, the day off. That would be
so 4 days off. Yeah, but I mean, put it this way: you're playing a team who's gonna still be hot off of the series from St. Louis. This is what we were worrying about when we did clinch so early. I wrote an article about it on the blog page. Yes, the sweep was great because we swept the Yankees and everything. However, we know how this ended last time when we did sweep. We had the long break.
And they tried something different this time to deal with that in scrimmaging their minor league system.
Yep. And
too bad they couldn't scrimmage them in San Francisco.
Right, exactly.
Because what they did, and hopefully they scrimmaged them with pitchers hitting, is what Tom mentioned. I would think they did.
Yeah. I mean, I told Brendan before the show, I don't even want the pitchers to hit. I just want them to be able to lay down a bunt.
Work on the bunt as well as you can, because that's a huge...
and hopefully they're working with Barry on how to bunt, too. Because, I mean...
Small ball is going to come into play more. Teams were struggling to score more than a run or two against us. San Francisco is a National League team, and National League teams will play more small ball.
One thing I really liked about the Tigers in the first 2 rounds is we had, let me hear here, 3, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 stolen bases. I mean, if you look.
Don't know what that was all season.
Yeah, if you look in the regular season, we might have had like 15. I mean, it's more than that, but still. I mean, you had Infante running, you had Barry running, you had Dirks running.
And here's my favorite thing. We had 1 caught stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
Delman Young.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I believe I think it was pointed out that was a hit and run play that was not executed.
It was a strike him out throwing up.
Right.
Yeah, it was. I was at that game. It was one of the ugliest things I've ever witnessed in my life. Anyway, moving on. Talking about Delman Young, ALCS MVP. Where did this guy come from?
He started watching pitches.
Yeah,
I said
it's amazing what happens when you don't swing at everything.
That if he started watching pitches, he's a 300 batter.
Yep.
And he's honestly probably an elite player in this league if he could learn to start watching pitches.
Yep. My favorite thing of the post-game interview, though, was the woman who gave Delman Young the ALCS trophy, calling him the classiest individual in baseball after he just got out of a court date about punching a Jewish man in New York.
Well, you know, I thought that was pretty hilarious, too, actually. But you know what my favorite part of that was that she didn't call him the American League MVP. She called him the American League
MV tree. It
the
was
most valuable tree in the American League.
And another thing to take out of the postseason celebration, I think we all found out why Mike Ilitch got Prince Fielder because
oh my gosh, he doesn't look good.
Yeah, I feel really bad because I mean I love Mike Ilitch.
It's gonna be a loss when he's gone. There's no doubt about
definitely. It's the sad realization that we don't have much longer with him. I mean, if you want to talk about Michigan heroes,
oh my gosh,
Mike Ilitch is probably,
and it's not even just
2.
about his sports teams. I mean, he's done some other. I mean,
yeah.
I
mean, he made hot and readies,
and you really hope that he's able to get that World Series this year.
Yeah,
and they actually mentioned it, and you did kind of see it. There really does seem to be a family atmosphere with this team.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, all year, and I'll still say it, this team doesn't seem to... Well, they've showed up a little more where they're fired up. But
the one thing
they all looked happy for Ilitch, and I don't know if you see quite that... Like, it wasn't we're excited we won. Yeah. We're excited we won for you.
Yeah.
And that's not something you see everywhere.
The one thing that we really missed this year was, I forget who it was. It was one of our starters last year. He wasn't having a good game, and I mean, we knew we were going to miss this right away, even after we got Prince Fielder. Victor laid him down, laid into him, and then all of a sudden we started getting on that roll. I forget who the pitcher was. I wish I could remember.
Pitcher?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was his name? He was terrible.
I couldn't remember who it was, but when we ended up getting him, or Victor laid into him, and then all of a sudden everybody came. We don't have that vocal leader on this team, which I was talking to people earlier in the week. This team is going to be so scary next year. I mean, we're already scary enough right now with Cabrera and Fielder.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting next year. But I think we can pretty much wrap this up. Get to our picks for the series.
Yep. Go ahead, Brendan.
I'm going to go Detroit Tigers in 6. I think they're probably going to go one. This is my personal. I think they're going to go 1-1 in San Francisco, taking the first game. I think they're probably going to win 2 out of 3 in Detroit. I expect 3 and 4. And I think they're going to win Game 6 in San Francisco.
Yep. Pitching staff, the way they are, or the way they were in New York, this team sweeps. The Giants are not going to hit off this pitching staff, just like the Yankees couldn't if if the starting rotation's as good as it was in New York. However, I am a realist, and I do see one of our starters probably getting not blown up, but I do see one of them probably losing a lead in this series. I mean, the fact that we held the Yankees the entire series without giving up the lead is unheard of.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts.
I think that we do win the series, and I think the same thing I think that we do go 5 games. I think we split in San Francisco, and then we take care of it at home. I don't see the Tigers losing a postseason game this year in Detroit. I mean,
that would be pretty exciting.
Well, when you look at it, we've only lost 3 games the entire postseason so far, and they've all 3 been. I'm sorry, we've only lost 2 games in the postseason so far. And the starting rotation's been great. I mean, even in the losses to Oakland, the starting pitching was tremendous in those 2 starts. I mean, Sanchez went 7 innings and did exactly what we needed him to. And I think who was the second?
I got your 5th pitcher, by the way. It was Brad Penny.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep. Who was the starter in Game 4? Was it Scherzer who went like 8 innings and gave up 1 run or something?
This year?
and Oakland.
No, we didn't. Scherzer's only went 5 1/3. He was the fourth starter, but he only went 5 1/3.
That's right. Yeah, but I mean, even the 5 1/3, he did pitch pretty good.
Oh no, he looks very good. And like I said to you, that I think this 5 days off. If there's any one person that helps, it could be him. Because I said he's dealing with injury problems.
Yep.
He's looked good. He just hasn't had the same stuff he normally does.
One last thing that we do need, though, we need the Triple Crown man and the 4-hitter to step up in the World Series. I mean, yes, Cabby did step up in the last game.
Cabby wasn't terrible. He just wasn't.
No, he just wasn't doing what he wasn't producing the home runs. I mean, let's be honest. When we found out we were playing New York, we really thought Cabby and Prince were going to go off,
especially
with the short porch.
Especially Prince.
Yeah, with the short porch in right field. I mean, we thought they were eating it up. Fielders only had one home run, and I think it came in like Game 3 of the ALDS. So, I mean, I'd like to see Cabby and Fielder both step up a little bit more. But don't get me wrong, Peralta and Garcia and Jackson, all of them have just been they stepped up when we needed to, and I mean that might be the best thing that happens to this team. I mean, all season it was basically Fielder and Cabrera carrying us and Jackson. Now all of a sudden you're getting the production from Peralta, you're getting the production from Delman.
That's huge. You're getting it from everybody.
I think we
when that happens, if one guy slacks off, even if it's Prince Fielder or Miguel Cabrera, you can afford it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this team's it just feels like it's this team's year this year. I mean,
the only real worry in my opinion is they come out like they did in the 06 World Series.
Yeah.
And like Jim Leyland said, they learned from that, and they were scrimmaging. They were simulating games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if they do come out in the world, or if
you need to win
if they
game one, in my opinion, I think it's an important game.
Yeah. Well, you need to win game one as long as Verlander's on his game. If Verlander goes out and he doesn't look like Verlander, I mean, then we might have some more issues. I mean, if Verlander,
regardless, I think you need to take one in San Francisco, and I think you will.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, though. I mean, it's already been fun this whole series. It hasn't been a fun season, but it's been worth it now.
It's been a fun playoffs.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they've been making the Lions season a little more bearable.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Detroit, we will be back on Thursday with Lions pregame.
We may try to get another Lions or Tigers. We'll see. We'll definitely get one if they win it all.
Yeah.
And probably even if they don't.
Yeah.
But
we'll be talking about some late season moves, or I'm sorry, off-season moves and stuff like that after the season's over. But first, let's go out and conquer this and win the World Series and bring it back to Detroit. So for Brendan Riley, this has been Tommy Riles, and we all just say go Tigers and bring it home, boys.